Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by lineups.com. Nate and Josh here with you guys on a Wednesday. Two more, I should say, NBA Cup games here on Wednesday. Plenty of action, though, that we're going to be taking a look at with some best bets. Plenty of play-up props for us on the slate as well. Bringing both of those to you in one episode each and every weekday moving forward. So make sure to subscribe to that channel. Follow along all season. And let's go ahead and jump into the second game of the night and start with the Lakers and Spurs, Nate, and your first best bet here.
Yeah, and this is the one we're focusing on more because it's midday Wednesday. We still don't know if Devin Booker is going to play or not, so that game's kind of hard to call. But look, I think there's some line value here. The Spurs have crept up now 3 points basically since Wemby's been ruled out, and they've been playing without Wemby for a while. They have Castle back. They have Harper playing really well. They have really athletic guards who are going to be a problem for this Lakers team to defend, right? So I think you go ahead and grab all these points. Yes, last night the Eastern Conference underdogs did not bring it. They all kind of got blown out. But I think we could see a more competitive game here in the varsity league, especially from the Spurs, who have been playing good ball since they got De'Aaron Fox back. I think this Lakers defense is going to be compromised a little bit. They do get Marcus Smart back to throw him at Fox, but we both like the young guards to pick up the slack in terms of Castle and Harper, right? They're averaging 120 at a 100 pace since getting Fox back. Last time these teams met, there was just an insane free throw rate on both sides. So yeah, you can talk about that in terms of an over. But Lakers defense since adding LeBron, allowing 117 again a game, dead last in 3-point rate allowed at 42%, and the seventh most assists per game overall. They're only +2 net on the year. Isn't there just a little bit of the Lakers are good. They're very well coached. They win a lot of games, but do they really win at margin in these spots where teams are absolutely bringing it against them? And I think these young Spurs are going to be bringing it.
Yeah, I think they're going to bring it in the form of pace as well. I think they're going to really make the Lakers run. But to be honest, I don't know if the Lakers mind that. So I do like the over here. I think it is a bit more in the favor of the Spurs. If you look at the way that they play without Wemby, it's just everything goes up. It's a 118, offensive. Basically, the defensive rating is really the biggest part here, right? It's about a 107, 108 defensive rating with Wemby, 117 without Wemby. He cleans up any kind of errors or issues that you have. And then even Stephon Castle being out has been an issue too, as he's usually the guy guarding your best player on the other side. But more importantly for him, I think there's just matchup problems on both sides. If you look at how this adds up, right? You're going to end up with De'Aaron Fox or Devin Vassell on LeBron James or Rui Hachimura. I'll skip all the math and in the equation and just get to the final answer, which is that's going to be a problem somewhere on the floor, even if it's just because Rui is the third or fourth thought within the offense. He's probably going to be pretty open by that point. And then if you look at the other side of the ball, in terms of who's guarding somebody like Stephon Castle, I just don't want LeBron James to have to run around and guard fast, shifty guys. And I don't know if you want to just put him on Devin Vassell, because you also need to throw Luka on Harrison Barnes to get him out of the way. You see, there's just matchup problems all over the place on both sides. So the pace goes up without Wemby, with LeBron on both sides for both teams. The points go up. The Lakers are averaging 239.6 points per game in their games with LeBron this season. That goes down by about 6.5 points per game without LeBron. They're better on offense, and they're kind of worse on defense. Let's just call it what it is. If you've got more LeBron and you've got way less Jared Vanderbilt or Gabe Vincent or Marcus Smart, even I'm not saying all those guys are world beaters on defense at this point either, but we know LeBron's conserving his energy for, and it's much more so. It's been this way for years. It's much more so on the offensive side of the ball. It's been this way since Cleveland. Let's put it that way, and that's fine. The man's still doing things at 40 whatever years old that he is. That's fine, but this is all just leads to more pace, more points, less defense.
Yeah, LeBron, a big step backwards defensively at this point. So having him out there and probably trying to play big minutes in a cup game is certainly going to mortgage that. I was going to grab the Spurs team total at 115. It's now up 1 point, but this could be a both teams to get 115 situation. If you can get plus money on that, we think both teams have advantages to press here and should be scoring.
Yep.
Let's go to the other game. Playoff Caruso, right? He's been out 4 games. You can get this at just 4.5 points or tack on a couple assists. I like doing that because sometimes he'll score a little bit less, dime up a little bit more. But in the 3 cup games in the group round, 7 points, 2.7 assists. He's at 11 PA per game in the playoffs with OKC over just his standard 24 minutes. So it's not like he needs elevated playing time, but there is kind of a correlation to Isaiah Hartenstein being out and Caruso just being that small ball five sometimes. It's almost like Chet still ranges out as the four, and Caruso plays more minutes as the five. His last five with no Hartenstein, 11 points, 3.4 assists, 77% true shooting. So good spacing stuff there for the Thunder, and he's just a gamer. Like in the Cup last year when the other Thunder players couldn't hit anything, he was the one who was totally willing to step into that spotlight. And you need his defense against the god Colin Gillespie. Kidding, not really kidding. He's been lights out, and yeah, I think as a side bet, right, you could probably take Gillespie overs and just say like maybe Booker doesn't play, or maybe Booker just gets a ton of attention from the Thunder defense.
Yeah, one thing that I would look at here, just in relation to the last part of what you said, is like I think we can probably get like a Dylan Brooks under if Booker is out. If it goes up like a couple points, and this is your main scorer off the dribble, the guy who's creating for himself, which he's done masterfully this season, then I don't like it. Especially because the only guys you're missing now are Isaiah Joe. You're not missing any one of your all, like there's what, 5 guys that could be all defense on one of the 3 defensive teams, right? Like, so you're just throwing dudes at Booker or at Brooks. Booker, like, I still wouldn't like him to score, but I'd like him to find guys to score. And I'd like this thing to be a little bit closer than 15 points if Booker plays, right? We just really need to know that. But for Caruso, like, the only way that this gets tanked is there is no Booker and Caruso plays like 8 minutes, in which case just give us our money back and void it, please. But let's move on to J-Dub. Like, I just think it's wrong. I think my best guess here is that this is low for J-Dub because he's come back. We haven't seen him play more than like 34 minutes. I don't know why you need to see him play more than that to think he's going to play full in a cup game. Like, to me, SGA and Jalen Williams are depressed because it's a 15-point spread and we don't know if Booker is going to keep this thing close. That would be what's keeping the line down. And then J-Dub still, I think there's an extra point depressing his number here, which I think should be 21 and a half. It's been as high as 22, 23 and a half when he's playing in a playoff game or a game where you know he's going to play as close to full as he needs to with SGA on available. Like, he's still playing mid 30s, right? And he's getting 22, 23, 24 points per game in those situations. So that's all this is. Like, he's a 20-point per game scorer for his career since he's come in the league. With SGA over the last 2 seasons, he's still at 22 points per game. This is a 22-point per game score, and we're just getting a bit of an edge because we assume that the Suns are just going to get their stuff handed to them, which we assumed the other night when they beat the Timberwolves. So I'm still going to back them if Booker plays. This is still good to me, even if Booker doesn't, because I think he can still get there without it. But the number is just too low for me. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, and it's something to say about like the Suns defense is right. Their philosophy is kind of like stay down in a sense, like stay off don't let the role players get going, don't let them shoot. And so you've seen a lot of the primary ball handlers, both of them, like put up a bunch of points against the Suns, not necessarily the team lighting it up, but yeah, J-Dub and Shea could definitely get theirs because the Suns are not willing to help off. Oh boy, Luka gets the Spurs without Wemby now. I mean, he's had good numbers against Wemby, but now it's just Luke Cornett who's questionable, and Luka, can draw. He can just absolutely tool on this guy if he's out there. The Spurs are dead last line paint points in their last 7 since losing Wemby, 3rd most assists per game, 25th in defensive rating. As if you need a reason to take Luka at home with the bright lights on. Oh yeah, by the way, post baby bump, right? Had his kid come out, 31-point triple-double against the Sixers. So I mean, he was fired up the last time he faced the Spurs and Wemby, 35 and 13 in November, and a career high ? 7 stocks, like probably. I don't know if he's ever given that much effort defensively. Yeah. So clearly he's up for that. And then it's just like at home, 38 points and 10 dimes a game on 40% usage. Loves putting on a show. You might think like, well, what about when LeBron comes back? Does he have lower usage? He actually has at least 41 PA in 8 straight with LeBron active, dating back to last season. LeBron is totally fine with being like, yes, you run the show, my man. I'm the connective piece here. And I think Luka's going to do just that against the Spurs.
Yeah. Real quick, my take on LeBron in this situation is like LeBron hit the arc of like you get old and maybe in your mid to late 30s, you start to have this like weird insecurity that you're getting too old. And then by 40, 41, you're like, I am old, dude. I don't have insecurity about it anymore. I don't need to dunk on y'all fools. I've been doing this since you kids were in diapers. Some of y'all weren't born when I came in the league. Like, I'm good on all that. So I think he's totally fine, like you said, to watch Luka do his thing. And the only person I'd be worried about not getting theirs is Austin Reeves. It's super high for all his stuff, but they're also just saying Austin Reeves is actually the second fiddle now in terms of the offense and the usage, because he's up at 23.5 points against well, I want to say a good Spurs defense, but you called out that the chickens have come home to roost without Wemby at this point for them, and they've gone from a top 10 defense definitely to middle of the pack, and without him bottom 5-ish, like you said. So it's not looking as good around the rim for them. But let me go to the other side, talk about one of my two favorite players in this team. Also love Stephon Castle. Happy that you'll be talking about him in a sec. But Dylan Harper, man, love this kid. I'm going to take all of it with him in this one because look, annoyingly, the only time he didn't hit the PRA was when he missed the points against the Cavs. That was a game I took him on the points and assists. I've been taking the RA for him, but I think you got to add the points in a game that I think is going to be high scoring. And in 25 minutes, he's taking 13 shots. Like, this kid's not afraid, but he's still so involved in the offense and still has so many touches that his assists are super high as well. And he's pretty clean on those, like 9 potentials, 6 assists in 5.5 assists in 25 minutes. That's what he's been doing since he came back from injury. So just love what he's doing here. I think when you look at when he's on the floor with Castle or Fox, he's still looking at about 25, 26 PRA per 36. That still cleanly gets you over the 19.5, even if, like I said, he still plays the 25 minutes, but he's not an afterthought at this point. The people that are turned into afterthoughts, it's like the people getting touches at this point. We've got Dylan Harper, we've got Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and we've got some Devin Vassell. Pretty much end of list. Like, Keldon Johnson is the next guy you'd think maybe he's involved in the offense. Not really involved enough. He's just sort of a connector. So those are the guys who you like to still take the points with because you know the ball is going to be in their hands. I might take some Harry Barnes as well because I like on the threes because I think he'll be standing in the corner with Luka playing Ole or wave at him defense from the foul, from the extended foul line area, like not really guarding Harrison Barnes. Might lead to some Luka rebounds as well. Just throwing a whole bunch of stuff at you guys now, but love Dylan Harper here to have a high usage.
Yeah, I mean, big game on Monday, and lots of confidence coming into this one. Just to return to what I touched on earlier, De'Aaron Fox, 30 points per game his last 12 against the Lakers. So he has lit them up. I think JJ Redick even probably played against him back in the day, right? I mean, so JJ is probably going to be game planning around Fox. Marcus Smart is back to try to deal with Fox. So that's why I think these other two young guards, Harper and Castle, are going to have to step up, and I think they will. I mean, Castle in particular, we know is an absolute gamer, 2-time Natty champion, and coming off, no easing him back either on Monday after clearly, like, when you have like a hip contusion, it's not like these soft tissue issues like a groin or something or a hammy where you're like, I don't know, man, is he going to be ready? Like, he's just sitting out a couple games. He came back with 36% usage, pregame, like you highlighted, he was just like, oh, I'm playing. And now, yeah, with Wemby out, bigger usage role. I mean, the usage rate goes up. The points actually go down in terms of this season. It's still pretty small sample size, but no drop in assists. I actually kind of lean towards the assists if you are isolating anything here. Because the Lakers, like I said, have been struggling to limit assists. They've been struggling in 3-point defense. Castle's not going to be the one shooting those threes as much as getting 2 feet in the paint and kicking out. I mean, his assists correlate a little bit with like Vassell 3-pointers, Harrison Barnes 3-pointers. I think those guys are good for that. And for what it's worth, yeah, 18.8 and 4.8 dimes on 25% usage in 5 career against these Lakers. Gamer, yeah, when you see that purple and gold, you step up.
I mean, Stephon Castle doesn't need a reason to be that dude. He's a dog, man. He's a champ. Yeah, I didn't know which one I liked the most. I mean, there's numbers that tell you that the points are really good. There's some numbers that tell you the assists are really good. I think the points are great. Really, he is taking a ton of shots without Wemby, even with De'Aaron Fox on the floor. So I'm good with all of it, like you said here for the PRA. But let me close here with Mark Will. I get it. I get that the Thunder are awesome. I get it. This is still a dude that can score against them. Like my ideal prototype here is like the stretch 4. We've talked about that. The Santi Aldama, the John Collins, the guy that can shoot but can get boards and is not a liability with height because of how long and rangy the Thunder are all over the floor. But Mark Will's a skilled big man. He has ball skills. He's very good at running pick and rolls. He's very good at running dribble handoff stuff. He's good at hitting a little floater. This is why I liked him so much against Rudy Gobert, was that the fact that he doesn't need to get all the way to the rim to finish. He has touch within like 7-8 feet, and that helps him a lot. He can hit a little mid-range as well, so standing on the foul line is a good spot for him. That's how you score against the Thunder, and that's what he did in 22 minutes against them last game on the 28th of November. Also didn't have iHeart in that one, Isaiah Hartenstein, who's out in this one, and I like him to bully Chet. I think there's a nice correlation to the double-double, which is like still like almost 3-1, I think, for him for the double-double, because the rebounds are down at 7.5 on some books. I think he's going to bully Chet. Like, if I was Dagnall, I'd be considering starting Jalen Williams over Kason Wallace, going a little bit big, pushing Chet down to like Royce O'Neal, and then just being like, yeah, give Royce some shots and then protect the rim. That's what I do. But I'm not a championship head coach in the NBA, so don't listen to me. But I still think Mark Will would be able to score in those situations. I'm not scared of Jalen Williams' defense either. I think he's going to have some decent matchups in this one.
Yeah, and you already highlighted why Dylan Brooks might be turning into a pumpkin a little bit offensively. So yeah, play through this man makes sense. This could be a matchup too. One of the rare matchups.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anyway, my bad. That was the last one. I thought you were about to go. All right.
That's all good.
I'll just take it for right here. 3, 2, and 1. And that is all the time we have for you in this one. Definitely appreciate you guys following along. Continue to do so by subscribing to that channel. We'll be back each and every weekday with this NBA action as we roll on with the Cup, especially here. So until we see you next, happy betting.